Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are about the roles and responsibilities of navigators. What is the real role of a navigator, and also who is a navigator? So anybody who is navigating a vessel is called a navigator. So he is the member of the team. He doesn't work alone. He has got his own juniors or other navigators, if you want. They do the same job, monitoring the movements of the vessel. So what are the responsibilities of these navigators, these people who monitor the ship, who look at the direction, who look at the position, who look at the hazards that are identifiable? Remember, we talked about the radar. So the radar is assisting to identify within its own parameters. So as I have already said, anybody who is navigating, who has a role of navigating or a role of a navigator, is called a navigator. Key responsibilities of a navigator, I will be listing them as they are in all books. Anybody, whether it's a ship captain or any member of the crew, will know how a navigator works, or who should be a navigator, or what qualifications are required for one to be a navigator. We cannot just take anybody and make him a navigator. And I want to insist to young people that never apply for a job where you know that you don't know what you are supposed to do. That is an embarrassment. It's not about money. It's about delivery. What are you delivering to the employer? So we have a navigator here. He must be a skilled and the most qualified in the area. So key responsibilities from start, he must be able to plan the journey. He must be able to advise the captain or the pilot on board. You'll see in the notes, I've talked about the pilot on board. I've talked about the role of the captain. I might not touch other areas, but they are in the notes. And the notes are simpler than what you are listening to now, than what I'm saying, because the notes are systematic. Me, I touch here and there because of time. So those who are wise will go to my website and look at those notes. You buy them, for that matter. You buy the notes. They are there. If you've bought the notes, you'll never come and watch this video again. They are very simple and straight to the point. I've explained everything to your understanding, and also there's much more than what I'm saying. So he advises the captain. A navigator must be able to advise the captain along the route. You must ensure that hazards, obstacles, incidents are avoided as much as possible, including climate. Be able to read the climate and analyze whatever is in the publications. Must be able to analyze that and understand what kind of climate he will be getting along the voyage, along the line. So that will include climate and geomatics. So he must be well versed about that. A navigator is a member of the crew. Don't forget, he is counted as a member of the crew. He is not separated. He is one of them. Except that all navigators have different skills and they are well traveled. They know the vessels, they know the ships, they know the equipment we've talked about, and any tool, they are well versed about them. He must be knowledgeable. As I have already said, he must know the oceans, he must know the seas, he must know the water, the inland waterways if he's in small vessels. He must know everything that is happening at sea and advise the captain and the pilots. A navigator determines the course of the voyage. He must know where the ship is going. Remember, they have to plan the voyage before they leave. And also, the voyage must be understood by all members of the crew. The team must be aware of what will be happening. Where will they berth from port to port? Where will they anchor? Everything is written in the voyage plan. So he must be able to master the tools, how they work, how they use them. Must not have an instrument he doesn't know how it works. For that matter, he must be telling his assistants as to how to use those tools in the vessel. So, for instance, we're talking about the maps, how to use maps in the vessels. We're talking about sea charts. We talked about sea charts and charting the position of the ship. He must be able to read the nautical publications, as I have already said. He must know how to use the navigational equipment and meteorological instruments. He must be able to use them. He must be able to communicate, because sometimes there are incidents that need to be reported to the nearest port as much as possible and as quick as possible. Mostly, a navigator focuses on the navigation plans. How are we going to leave from one port to another? Which route are we going to follow? That should be his questions, and he answers them. He must know the passage plans. If they are from this port, how are they going to move out of the port? Then everything is written. They have procedures to follow when leaving the port. So it's not a matter of just driving the vessel out. You have to check out, like in the hotel. You check out. You must be known to be leaving. So, and also the pilot must be ready to take you out. So the passage plans must be in place as to what to do, even before they leave the port of departure. All those pilots and everything else has to be booked. He must know, or he must deal with unberthing and berthing, which means berthing when the ship is entering the port or the ship is approaching the port. He must know how to do that, and also how he will dictate the berthing of the ship, including departures. So that is in the passage plan. That is articulating on the arrival in a port and approach, the approach to the port. So he must be able. Remember, the ship, you don't just boom, stop and you go. You need to see to it that it is moored correctly. There is a process of mooring the vessel. Lashings, using lashings, so that the ship doesn't move up and down, sway this way and that way, maybe end up somewhere else. When they berth it, they must find it where it was berthed. If it disappeared, goes, you see it somewhere else, that means an incident. It could create problems, dangers within the port. So, also, he ensures that there's clear charting of the course. The course must be charted. We talked about that in the previous videos. Forecasting of the weather, tides, and tidal currents. Those are remember we talked about a ship attacked by a current, and then it loses the direction to somewhere else. And then we talked about a situation where they have to move it back to its course. So he must not focus the weather, tides, and currents. Updating and checking aeronautical charts, nautical publications, sailing directions, and also knowing about the coast pilots for each port. Oh, I have forgotten one more important thing. They must know the regulations and laws in each port. It's not only about the international law, safety of life at sea, SOLAS, or MAPOL. The story doesn't end there. It has got other issues, because now the law within a port, as I had already said, is developed nationally. So, but they align to the convention. So they must know the laws there so that they abide. They have that kind of obligation. He must be able to project future events, know what will be happening. If there will be a war in a certain country, we must know that a war is coming. If everybody is told that there will be a tsunami in a certain country, they must know that. Land falls in a certain area, they must know that. Narrow passages and also course changes. Sometimes circumstances demand that a ship must deviate. So, though deviation is not allowed, because now it will mean that you are not going to the direction, the route that was followed. People must know where you are. Is not allowed. Sometimes deviation occurs under certain circumstances. I thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you'll find that portion of today's video enjoyable. Don't forget to consult the notes. Don't stress yourself during this pandemic. Work is done. I'm not the only one who is giving you advices and videos about what is happening or what is going to happen or your work. Because at the end of the day, you'll write exams. You have lost a lot of time, starting from the time the pandemic started up to now. You don't know when it will end. So you must be prepared to succeed in your exams. People are doing very well to caution you, to lecture you, to teach you in different subjects. So I am doing. I thank you.